So the first part of the presentation, what I'll do is give you a little bit of a background on what Club Premier is and how the program has evolved through time. And the second part will go into the practical use case of gamification. So Club Premier was born 22 years ago as Aeromexico's frequent flyer program. So think sort of the basic structure of a loyalty program where you could earn kilometers, that's the currency of the program, when flying on Aeromexico, and then you could redeem those kilometers for flight awards on Aeromexico only. So that was pretty much the start 22 years ago. And then through time, the model started to evolve. So the first thing is around 4 years later, we started to bring in different partners which would allow conversion of their currency into Premier kilometers, mostly for redemption purposes, because members were valuing sort of the flight award proposal. That's the example, for example, of membership rewards points transferring into Premier kilometers. And then around year 2000, SkyTeam was formed as one of the air alliances, and with Aeromexico as one of its founding partners. And then you would have the sort of reciprocal partnership between the airlines, which would allow members to earn when flying these distinct airlines, and then redeem also on these airlines. So different things started to happen throughout these years, and let's fast forward all the way over to 2010. What happened in 2010 were two things. The first one is Aeromexico had in Club Premier I would say, average frequent flyer program, which was pretty good at addressing the needs of those frequent flyers, those passengers who were actually on the airline with certain frequency. But the airline started to realize that this program was not effective at addressing the needs of the other part of their users, people who were maybe getting on the airline once, 2, 3 times a year. Because basically, the structure of the program wouldn't allow for these members to have enough velocity in the program to start to see the benefits. So with that in mind, they thought around different things to do with the program, and it was in 2010 that what they did was they spun off the program out of the airline into a dedicated loyalty company, and they partnered with a Canadian company by the name of Airline, which is a company that has own loyalty programs and also does loyalty services for other companies. And basically the mandate around that new company was to evolve the frequent flyer program into what is known in the industry as a coalition loyalty program. So I'll tell you more about a coalition loyalty program in the following slides, but in essence, it's giving members the opportunity to earn in other ways and redeem also in other ways, making the value proposal much more universal and much more accessible to people who are not necessarily traveling with the frequency of other passengers. So from there on, you'll see in the next slides, we've done a lot over the past 3 years basically to do this. So now you can earn, we have a member base of roughly 3.5 million members, which can earn in roughly 100 different companies, which not all of them are travel related. I'll speak to them in some of the next slides. So I'll skip this. So I was telling you about loyalty, coalition loyalty. So I'll give you a very brief background on how the different loyalty models have evolved through time. So the first model is the proprietary model, basically allowing members to earn the currency of the program within the same value proposition of the company. So for example, I'm a coffee shop, you walk into my coffee shop, you get 10 stamps, your 11th cup is for free. So it's the same value proposal of the business that you're consuming the services for. The second model is the partner model, where basically you bring in different partners and allow some flexibility around how you earn or burn. And finally, the coalition model, which is the one that I'm referencing to and the one that we've been working around, where basically you have various earn opportunities for partners in very different verticals, or it can be within the same industry, it doesn't really matter. But I think the key differentiator is that you have one single currency. The earn sort of structure in each company can vary, so in one it might be 1 point per dollar spent, and the other one it can be maybe 1,000 points per stay. It doesn't really matter, but in the end it's a single currency and it all goes into a single account. And that in the end translates into a huge benefit for the members of the program, because now they're not having to sort of manage a series of programs. They're just sort of sticking to a single one and seeing and sort of playing that single game. So a little bit more on coalition and how it works and why we've seen sort of a very positive effect for Club Premier. The first one is it's a better value proposal, both for the members of the program and for the partner companies who are using this currency to reward their most loyal customers. Because it's you have a wider variety. As I mentioned, there's also a single account with a single card. It's a much simpler value proposition. One of the key things is you start incorporating verticals which allow for everyday spend earning, which complements other categories, and some other things. It's also stronger because definitely it's a much larger customer base and it allows for economies of scale. So just think, let's say you are a restaurant. In the end, your core business is sort of having the best food services, the best service, the best ambiance. Really, your core business is not having a loyalty program. So in the end, the type of investments you can do around that program are relatively limited. When you have a much larger program and different companies are contributing to that program, then the economies of scale really start to kick in, and you can invest in technologies and services that otherwise would be very hard to imagine. And then faster, I think this is the piece that I spoke to. From the member perspective, it's just you start to see activity in the program on a daily basis. It doesn't matter whether you're traveling, you're pumping gas, you're buying your groceries, you're earning. And in the end, that translates into engagement. So a little bit more about Club Premier. Today we have a little bit over 90 different earn partners. So we have the usual suspects of a frequent flyer program, things like airlines, hotels, and car rental, but we also have other very distinct categories that complement the previous ones. Things like banks, where we have co-brand cards with American Express, and Banamex, which is Citibank in Mexico. We also have the possibility to transfer currency from other banks into Club Premier kilometers. Basically, all other banks in Mexico have that possibility. And finally, the retail vertical, where our members now can earn when they're buying their office supplies, when they're buying their coffee, pumping gas. Doesn't really matter. We're trying to be present in their daily lives. And so these are some of the brands. You'll see some of the brands which are global companies. And some are, I mean, our program is much more Mexico-centric. 80% of our member base is in Mexico. So you'll also see some brands that you might not recognize, and those are brands, local brands in Mexico. In the end, what you see is sort of complementary brands across different categories. In all of these categories, these brands are leaders. From the redemption part of the program, the flight award is something that most members treasure a lot, and they do value it a lot. But having said that, we wanted to make sure that we gave our members as many options as possible. So 3 years ago, we only had flight awards. Now we also complemented that with other categories. So we have 50,000 hotel properties around the world where you can stay with your kilometers, car rentals around the world. We have a merchandise e-store with 100,000 different products, things like electronics, home categories, health. We also have merchandise directly at the point of sale of some of our partners. And it's very straightforward. I mean, you just, at your checkout, you pull out your Club Premier card, and if you want to pay with kilometers, you just swipe it like if it were any other credit card, and it gets deducted from your balance. We also have an experiential category where we bring in special things like raffles, sweepstakes, concerts, special flights around the world, things of the like. We also have an auctions platform, a casual gaming platform with things like tournaments of solitaire and things of the like. We have a charity platform where our members can sort of donate for different causes. And we also have activities, things like amusement parks, concerts, theaters, etc. And finally, it's important to say what this equates to for our business partners. In the end, from a value proposal to our members, we try to be as engaging as possible as a loyalty program. But for our partners, what we really are is a CRM and one-to-one marketing company. So we have a member base of roughly 3.5 million members. Then we have a series of dedicated communication channels that we can tap into. And then we have sort of highly sophisticated CRM and segmentation models that we can use to leverage the interest of our partners. So it really becomes a matter of understanding what our partners' requirements and commercial needs are, and then translating that into the program and sort of pulling together something that is relevant for them, whether it's a proposal that is only from that partner to the member, or if it requires to bring in some of the other partners and do some form of bundling or cross-selling between the different partners. In the end, what we end up doing is 4 things for our partners. The first one is we help them acquire new customers. The second one is we help them increase spend with the different consumers. The third is retain their existing consumers. And the fourth one is we also help them to change habits. So in changing habits, I think a very clear example is web check-in. Web check-in, believe it or not, in Mexico is not as penetrated as in North America. So roughly 80% of passengers still actually do a physical check-in. And that has huge implications in operations and costs for our partner airlines. So basically having the ability to incentivize passengers into actually using web check-in and having those savings is part of the things that we do. So I think that's the first part of the presentation, really into what we do, the business model, and so forth. Now let me jump into an actual case study, which we put together some months ago. It's called the Premier Rally. And basically, I'll give you a little bit of where we were and what we wanted to do. From what I told you in the previous slides, we were born 22 years ago. And definitely in the marketplace, there's sort of an association of Club Premier equals Aeromexico's frequent flyer program. I can earn when I fly. I can burn on flight awards. And that's basically what's in the top of mind of our members. The challenge there was, how do we start educating our members into sort of the new business model that allows for their participation in very different verticals with very different earn partners and do it in a fun way? So that was really the challenge, and what we ended up doing is a gamified promotion by which our Club Premier members were challenged throughout the course of 8 weeks with 1 weekly challenge. And basically, as long as they started doing these challenges, they were not competing between each other. It was really an individual challenge. And to the extent they started completing these challenges, they would then unlock certain rewards, which I'll speak to in the next slides. So when we designed the promotion, we had some considerations in mind. So the first thing that came to mind is we wanted to make sure that it was something simple in terms of the design and how we communicated to our members, and that the goals were attainable. The second is that we wanted to make sure that we were addressing this promotion to specific members to whom we thought it would become relevant. So it wasn't open to all our members. The third is we wanted to make it fun and definitely financially sound both for Club Premier and our partner companies. And the fourth is we do promotions on a day-to-day basis with all our partners, but this was the first promotion that we were really putting in different earn partners and a sort of a structure across the different categories of the program. So we also wanted to keep a learning approach for Club Premier that allowed for us to understand what was working, how our members reacted, and how we could basically take this moving forward for a second iteration of the promotion. From a member perspective, how it worked, it was pretty straightforward. You had to opt into the promotion, so this ensured that this really is key in terms of the profitability of the promotion for us. The second one is, as I mentioned, you had 8 weekly challenges, and in the end, the reward varied depending on what you did. So currently we know that our members on average earn on 2.2 partners throughout the program. So we wanted to make sure to push that threshold upwards. So if you earn 3, 4, 5 or more, you would get different bonuses up to doubling the kilometers that you were earning. So basically we took the earn that you had with those partners in that period of time, and then we bonused depending on the number of partners that you were actually earning with. In terms of communications, we used mostly our own channels, so definitely things like heavy on email. Our members are very responsive to email, so we had enrollment pieces, we sent our challenges throughout email, we sent status alerts via email. We also leveraged a lot of our website, which has very good traffic, so things like banners, landing pages, etc. We created a widget for the promotion, which allowed our members to understand how they were playing in the game. And in some instances where we found it was relevant, we also had point-of-sale signage in some of our partner actual physical outlets. These are some examples of the challenges. So for example, and it's in Spanish, as I mentioned, but I'll translate. So basically, the fourth challenge was if you were flying in any of these international or national routes with Aeromexico within a certain time frame, you would unlock the fourth challenge. Similarly, the second challenge was with Gandhi. Gandhi is the largest bookstore in Mexico. You could also, just by doing any purchase with them and earning, you would also unlock the second challenge. And it's important to say that from a member perspective, earning in retail is very straightforward. So basically, you just pull out your card upon payment, independent of the tender that you're using, you just swipe it, and that's all you have to do. So there's no additional steps, and it's pretty straightforward. And a third example with La Europea. La Europea is a delicatessen and wine and spirits company in Mexico. Similarly, just had to make a purchase within a certain time window, and you would unlock another challenge. This is an example of part of the widget that we had to promote the rally for our members. So basically, you had the different challenges here, and they would start to light up when you started accomplishing them. And then you would also understand these would start lighting up as soon as you started accomplishing enough challenges. So that's a little bit how we structured it, how we communicated it. Let me tell you what we found out and how it worked for us. So this is a graph that shows on this end, it's number of members in the program. On this side, you have number of partners with whom these members earn on. You'll see that obviously there's a lot of weight with one partner, and then it starts to go down and taper off. The red line is those that opted in to the Premier Rally, and the gray bar is those who were not participating in that time frame in the rally. You will see that for one earned partner, obviously those not participating is higher than those that were, because it's basically all our control group for this promotion. But as soon as you start to see two partners and upwards, you start to see that the red line is definitely higher than the gray one in all cases. So I think that was the first finding for us. It was definitely working in terms of earned partners, which is what we wanted to accomplish. Let me tell you some of the other metrics that we tracked. So overall, 2.2% of our member base opted into the promotion, and out of those, 61% actually participated in the promotion. 17% got a bonus, so not bad. Almost 1 in 5 actually unlocked a bonus. 10% of those duplicated their kilometers. So there was definitely a wow factor for them, because they were just seeing their balances increase drastically. 28% of them increased their earn transactions, and we saw an overall earn increase of 3%. So very positive for us in that respect. Finally, we're very short in time, but this is a little bit when you go into a micro level and start to understand the behavior of these members. Here are two examples of two very distinct members. The column on the left are the partners with whom they were accruing before the promotion, then during the promotion. So you can see a huge increase in these numbers. And we've kept tracking these over time, and definitely the number of partners sort of bounces back once the promotion is ended. But what we found is that for many of these partners, for many of these members, you just have to sort of show them and educate them that they can earn. Once they do it, let's say pump gas, everybody pumps gas at least once a week. Many of our members do. So just being able to say, hey, I didn't know I could earn, I'm just doing this, and by going to these gas stations, now I can also earn, became something very positive. So I think we're out of time. Here's my contact info. If you have any questions, I'll be around, and thank you very much.